Okay, so we're talking sleep?
Yeah.
Or maybe the lack of it these days?
Okay.
You've been diving into these fascinating U.S. News sleep habit survey reports
Absolutely.
from 2022, 2023, and now we've got the 2024 edition hot off the presses.
Fresh data.
Yeah, a treasure trove of data on how Americans are snoozing or not snoozing.
Yeah, it's like peeking into the collective dream journal of a nation,
Hmm,
except maybe with fewer unicorns and a lot more spreadsheets.
right.
But you know what I find really fascinating is how these surveys,
Yeah.
they reveal not just our sleep patterns, right?
Right.
But also the anxieties that might be keeping us up at night.
Yeah, and speaking of anxieties,
Yeah.
one thing that jumps out from all 3 years
Yeah.
is that consistent top sleep disruptor,
Mm-hmm.
cost of living,
Yep.
#1 year after year.
Every time.
Seems like everyone's feeling the pinch,
Absolutely.
even in their sleep.
You know, there's actually been some interesting research from the Sleep Foundation
Okay.
that suggests that financial worries,
Mm-hmm.
they're particularly potent sleep disruptors.
Interesting.
It's that feeling of uncertainty about the future,
Yeah.
the what-ifs that tend to pop up
Right.
right as you're trying to drift off.
Yeah, it's like almost makes you wonder if a good financial planner should come with a side of sleeping pills. But in all seriousness, though,
Yeah.
it seems like those anxieties are evolving a bit.
Mm-hmm.
The 2024 report shows gun violence
Yeah.
and the upcoming election
Right.
are also causing significant sleep disturbances this year.
Yeah, and in fact, the 2024 data shows
Okay.
that those who reported frequently losing sleep over the election
Mm-hmm.
were nearly 40% more likely to also experience symptoms of generalized anxiety during the day.
Wow, that's significant.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of how these external stressors
Mm-hmm.
can seep into our subconscious
Yeah.
and really affect our overall well-being.
It's almost as if our sleep is a barometer for the things we might not even realize are stressing us out.
Exactly.
Huh.
And it's not just these big picture issues impacting our sleep.
Right.
The reports also highlight some persistent bad sleep habits
Okay.
that are surprisingly common.
Yeah, let's dive into those.
Let's do it. For example, you know how we were talking about routines?
Right.
Well, the most common sleep sabotaging habit
Okay.
across all three reports
Mm-hmm.
is going to bed at inconsistent times.
Yeah, you would think.
We're
In our
talking-
hyper-scheduled world.
Exactly.
This would be an easier one to fix, but
You'd think so.
the data says otherwise.
It really does.
It's like the call of the pillow is just really weak for some of it.
Well, and it's not always about willpower either.
Okay.
The reports actually touch on this.
Okay.
The 2023 report specifically
Mm-hmm.
cites a study from the Journal of Applied Psychology
Okay.
that links inconsistent sleep schedules
Yeah.
to higher levels of work-related stress.
Ah, interesting.
So for many people,
Yeah.
it's less about a lack of discipline
Right.
and more about, the demands of their day
Yeah.
bleeding into their nights.
It's that always-on culture we hear so much about.
Exactly.
And I bet screen time before bed isn't helping that.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
In fact, screen time in bed climbed to the second most prevalent bad habit
Really?
in both 2023 and 2024.
So scrolling through social media before bed is the new counting sheep.
Right?
Except instead of sleep, we get anxiety and eye strain.
It's true.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
While those bad habits are still hanging around,
Mm-hmm.
the reports also reveal
Yeah.
some shifts in how we're approaching sleep,
Interesting. Okay.
particularly when it comes to couples.
Okay. You're talking about sleep divorce.
Yeah.
This idea of couples choosing separate sleep setups.
Right, right.
Is that really becoming more common?
It seems to be.
Okay.
The 2024 data shows
Yeah.
a 12% increase in couples reporting they sleep in separate beds or rooms
Wow.
compared to 2022.
That's significant.
It's not insignificant. Now, of course, this data doesn't tell us why this is happening,
Right.
but it's something more and more couples seem to be experimenting with.
It makes you wonder if it's simply a matter of prioritizing sleep or
Yeah.
if there are other factors at play, like are we seeing shifting relationship dynamics too?
Right, and the reports do touch on this idea
Okay.
of personalized sleep experiences.
Interesting.
For example, even among couples who share a bed,
Yeah.
there's been a notable increase
Okay.
in those adopting what's often called the Scandinavian sleep method.
Scandinavian sleep method.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fill me in. I've never heard of this.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You're sharing a bed,
Mm-hmm.
but you have your own duvet.
Okay.
So no more fighting for blanket dominance in the middle of the night. The 2024 report suggests
Yeah.
44% of Americans now prefer individual duvets. even if they're not sleeping in separate beds.
So it's like having your cake and sleeping with it too.
Right.
You get the closeness of sharing a bed,
Yeah.
but with the added bonus of personalized temperature control.
Exactly.
And no more blanket battles.
Exactly.
I can see the appeal.
Right.
So this move towards individualized sleep experiences
Yeah.
could reflect a larger trend
Potentially.
towards prioritizing individual needs and well-being,
Yeah.
even within the context of a relationship.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of loving sleep,
Right.
the reports did ask people
They did.
how often they actually wake up feeling well-rested.
Yeah. How'd we do?
So what did we learn about that? So about those well-rested folks. Yeah.
Are we talking like unicorns here?
Well, not quite unicorns.
Okay.
But it's not exactly a sleep well-rested fest either.
Okay.
Brace yourself.
Right.
Because a whopping 22% of Americans
Wow.
reported waking up well-rested rarely or never in 2024.
22%?
Yeah.
That's over 1 in 5 people.
It is.
Those aren't exactly odds I'd want to bet on.
Yeah, it's a little concerning, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you consider the ripple effects
Yeah.
of chronic sleep deprivation
Right.
on everything from
Yeah.
our physical health
Of course.
to our mental clarity,
Right.
even our relationships.
It makes you wonder if all this talk about side hustles
Right.
and productivity hacks is kind of backfiring,
Yeah.
making us all too tired to actually enjoy any of it. It raises an important question about sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Can we truly thrive
Right.
when such a significant portion of the population
Yeah.
is operating on a sleep deficit?
Right.
The data suggests there's room for improvement,
For sure.
both individually and maybe even on a societal level.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah,
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
we have.
From, anxieties that haunt our sleep
Yeah,
to the bad habits we can't seem to shake,
right.
and even this intriguing rise of sleep individualism.
It's fascinating.
What do you think is the most important takeaway
Ooh, that's a good question.
for our listeners today?
Amidst all this data,
Yeah.
it's easy to get overwhelmed
Right.
or feel like a good night's sleep is just this elusive dream.
Right.
But here's the thing. Even though external factors like the economy or, yes, even elections
Mm-hmm.
can impact our sleep,
Sure.
there are still things within our control.
You're talking about building those good sleep habits we were discussing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might seem small,
Right.
but establishing a consistent sleep schedule,
Yeah.
creating a relaxing bedtime routine,
Mm-hmm.
ditching those screens in the hour before bed,
Yeah.
these are all ways to reclaim some control over our sleep.
It's like building a sleep sanctuary.
Yes.
One good habit at a time.
Exactly.
I like it.
And, if those anxieties we talked about earlier
Yeah.
are creeping in at bedtime,
Mm-hmm.
finding healthy ways to manage stress during the day
Right.
can also make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Whether it's exercise, meditation, spending time in nature,
Yeah.
even just connecting with loved ones,
Yeah.
taking care of our mental and emotional well-being
Yeah.
is an investment in better sleep as well.
So it's not just about counting sheep,
Right.
but also about, counting our blessings,
I love that.
taking charge of our stress levels,
Yeah.
and, creating a sleep environment that truly supports our well-being.
Well said.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this sleep-themed deep dive.
I think so.
Hopefully you are feeling informed and maybe even a little inspired to
Amen.
prioritize your own sleep journey.
Absolutely.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
Sleep tight.